For the Bray furnishing project, it was my job to locate the books that were sent to the school and find surviving copies that we could use to create reproductions that our bookbinders would bind, and then we could install in the schoolroom for interpretive purposes. One book was particularly difficult to find and had escaped scholars who'd worked on the Bray schools for many, many years. It took about 1.5 years of reaching out to many different experts and a lot of digging, but we were finally able to locate a single copy of the book at a library in Germany. So what was the book and why was it so hard to find a copy of it? So the book is called The Child's First Book, and as its name suggests, it was the first book that you would give to children when they were learning how to read. It was something known as a primer. A primer is the first book that children would use as they learned how to read. It included their ABCs, their numbers, basic syllables, and starting off with small words and then building up to larger ones, they would learn how to read and spell those words out loud. We also knew that tens of thousands of copies of it were printed in the 18th century, and that 140 copies of the book were sent to the Bray School. As you can see, the book is pretty small. It's also not covered in hard covers, and so that makes it pretty vulnerable to wearing out or to being tossed away. But children's educational literature was very valuable at the time, but because it was reused by lots of children, sometimes as young as the age of 2 or 3, they survive in low numbers. So we were really lucky to find a copy, especially since this book was so important to the school. And we know that there was documented, as I said, 140 copies sent to the school over 14 years, which means they took pretty good care of the book that would have been used pretty hard by little children. You can see copies of the book in the schoolroom at the Williamsburg Bray School to learn more about how children learned to read in the 18th century.